Hi everybody, and welcome to Miracles in Real Life. My name is Christy, and we homeschool around our two kids' unique medical needs. Our life is real and our life is messy, but God brings grace through all the chaos. Today I am doing a collab with set up by Trisha from This Life of Ours, and I will link the playlist in the description box below, and go and check out everybody else's. This is what didn't work with our homeschool, and so anyway, I'm going to talk about what didn't work with our homeschool. The first thing that did not work was thinking that I had two kids that I could teach the same way, that they would both have the same learning style. And really that was very silly of me, especially considering both of my kids are adopted and they are not biologically related. Why would I think that they would, learn the same way? But anyway, I thought, well, what worked for one should work for the other, but it did not. In fact, when Quentin was in kindergarten, we started out doing 5 in a row because I'd heard so many good things about it. We did, this right here. And I think we got through about three or 4 weeks, and he hated it. I hated it. It was horrible. We stopped doing that and went to something else. When it came time for Elizabeth, I thought, well, that's just a bad idea. We're not going down that road again. And actually it was my sister who suggested, why don't you give it a try? She is very different, so why don't, see if it would work. And so I did, and she loved it. We finished all the books, and doing it with her was so different than doing it with him that I didn't mind. I enjoyed it. We had fun this time. So even though I didn't enjoy doing it with my first one, I really enjoyed doing it with this one. So that worked really well. Also, I taught both of them to read using Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons. With Quentin, it went really well. We went straight through. He got it really quickly. It worked for him. Elizabeth, whereas it did work for her, she did not enjoy it. And it was a struggle, and she dreaded it every single day. We got through, we finished, and she's emerging she's getting stronger in her reading. So it worked out okay, but just thinking that both kids could be taught the same way, it's not a good idea. The second thing that did not work for us is setting a strict schedule, more specifically morning school. I know generally most people get up in the morning, they have breakfast, they have school. That does not happen in our family. My husband works an odd schedule than most. He doesn't leave for work until about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So we have our family time in the mornings. The kids have their free time. I get to visit with my husband. My husband gets to play with the kids. We get to do things together as a family, all in the morning. Now, for time's sake, we usually do our read alouds together kind of as a family. We do our devotions. We do whatever read aloud book we're doing at the time, and then our missionary story, our missionary heroes, or heroes of history, whichever one we're doing. At that time, we do together as a family. And then when my husband leaves for work, that's when we crack down for school. So we school from 2 in the afternoon until about sometimes around 8 o'clock at night. We stop for dinner and a few other things. But even if he didn't have that schedule, we are not morning people. We tried to be morning people. It doesn't work. We do not do well first thing in the morning. So that was the second thing that did not work. The third thing that does not work is taking time off. Now, I'm not saying that my kids never get a break. They get lots of breaks, but lots of little breaks. We can't take 3 months off in the summer. That doesn't work. It's too hard for me to get back into a routine. It's too hard for my kids to get back into a routine. They do not retain the information well when it's not in practice. And so we've just decided that we school all year round, and but we don't stress too much. If we need to take a day off for a doctor's appointment, or for to go on a field trip, or just to have a day off, it's okay. We do that and we don't worry about it, because we are going all year and we don't have big blocks of time where we are not in school. The fourth thing that did not work for us was staying with a boxed curriculum for every subject. Once my son hit first grade, we went specifically with ACE because I needed something to tell me all the subjects. I needed everything in one place, because I was afraid I was going to miss something. And so I got the whole set together. Well, by doing that, his math and especially his spelling over the years, it was such a struggle. In fact, last year, that was kind of the breaking point. Last year, every time we had to do spelling, he would cry, I would cry. It was just horrible. And I thought and he had no retention. His spelling was atrocious. It was horrible. So, last year when we went to our local homeschool convention, I was on a mission to find something different to help him. And I did. We ended up switching his spelling to Spelling UC, and he loves it, and he's doing so much better. And I'm just so appreciative that I finally realized that I can piece other pieces together and it will be okay, and that I don't have to worry about him missing something. And we also switched his math to Math UC. He wasn't horrible at math, but he kind of just didn't have a good grasp. So I thought, we would switch with that, and that has gotten so much better too. We had to take him way back to make sure that he had a good foundation, but he's flying through it and he's doing great. So we are not worried about that at all. And that kind of goes into the fifth thing that did not work for us. And that was totally me thinking that I have to teach all the things, and that if I don't teach all the things, not that they have other teachers, that's not what I mean. I mean that I had to hit on every single thing that they would ever need to know in life, and that if I didn't do it, and I didn't do it right, that I was going to ruin them for life, or ruin their life. I had to come to the realization that that is not practical, that is not even true. That the most important thing is for us, is for our kids to learn to love Jesus, and for them to be productive person, and everything else is just bonus. If they know the full periodic table, that's great. If they know all the presidents, that's wonderful. But the most important thing is that they grow up loving Jesus and becoming good people, kind, caring people. And that's the most important thing. Everything else is just gravy. And then my sixth and last thing that did not work was a lot of it is in my mind versus with my kids. But I used to plan out months even in advance in my planner. And I had what we were going to be doing each day. Well, the problem is, especially when you're dealing with medical needs kids, is they could get sick. They could have a hospital stay, they could have a procedure, they could have overnight stays at, different hospitals that you're not planning on, or even just a play date. Someone calls up and says, hey, you want to come over and play for a little bit? if it was written down in my planner, I'd feel like, oh, we got to get school done. We couldn't really do that. So I stopped planning totally. What we do is they have these goal cards, and this one is already filled out, but what we do is the day when we finish a subject for the day, we cross it off and mark the next day's goal in the space. And I only plan for one day in advance. That's the only planning that I do. And as far as my book, my planner book, my record book, that's exactly what it is. It's a record book. It's not a plan book, because I only write down once it is finished. I don't write down prior. I only write down after it is done. So that has relieved so much stress, because I didn't have to erase and move things around, because it's not in there to erase. I just don't plan. I have a general idea in my head where we need to be over the next 12 months, but that doesn't have to be planned out day by day. As long as we just work diligently, it's going to get done, and that's fine. That's all that matters. So anyway, those were my 6 things that have not worked in our homeschool. Like I said, go check out Trisha at This Life of Ours and the rest of the ladies in the playlist, and I will link that down below. And if you're new to this channel, my name is Christy, and we have 2 medical needs kids who are also adopted, and we talk about mommy things, adoption, homeschool, obviously, and medical needs. So if you would like, we would love to have you here. If you would like to subscribe, just please hit the button, and please give this video a big thumbs up. Anyway, thank you, and have a great day. Bye-bye.